Housing expert Melanie Wright is out there warning that the U.S. housing market could see a correction worse than 2008. She's expecting a 50% drop. She says the market is slowing, inventory is rising, demand is weaker, and here's the key part. She says things are already weaker than most realize because that median and average prices, well, those are actually being artificially held higher because it's the higher priced homes that are selling the most now, skewing everything up and making the overall market look stronger than it actually is. Is this true in Marin? In this video, I'll put the theory to the test. Stay to the end because you'll learn something no one else is going to tell you. But it'll tell you how to look at Marin numbers from here on out. So let's get to it. I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor, 30-year Marin local, and the person who helps you buy or sell here with your sanity and bank account intact. If you need some backup, my info is in the link below. Before I get into this content, shout out to my YouTube viewer that gave me the idea for this original research based on her question. Thank you so much. See, when you reach out, I actually listen. The problem with Marin stats. Marin is not a nice, normal market. Prices can range from the starter home that needs love to this house has its own zip code. So when the monthly report says average up, it might mean one thing, or it might mean a few trophy homes showed up, threw a party, and the average got drunk. And that matters because buyers and sellers make real decisions off these headlines. Buyers think, great, I'm doomed. Sellers think, great, I'll list $400,000 over the comps. And then we all meet again in 3 weeks when reality shows up with a clipboard. For those of you who often watch my market report, first, thank you very much. Second, you know that I often mention that the number of homes selling each month in Marin is not statistically significant. And due to the huge range of home prices, I often caution you that I prefer the best of the bad stat choices by paying most attention to the quarterly numbers, as those at least include more homes. Still not statistically significant, but better. I'm always mentioning that the monthly stats can get pushed around a lot. Well, today, I'm not only going to address whether Melanie Wright's skew theory is happening in Marin County, I'm also going to share the actual math of how average and median home prices in Marin move. Where to start to determine whether Marin stats are currently skewing to numbers that look stronger than what's really going on. So here's what I did. What I tested, the simple version. I took 2 years of Marin sales. For those of you getting my newsletter, you know that I keep those stats attached to the actual addresses of homes sold each month, and I already do some math on those stats that no one else does. So if you don't know about that newsletter, you can sign up for it. It's free. The link is in the description. Okay, like I said, I took 2 years of monthly Marin sales and I determined which priced homes landed in the top 2% of all homes sold in Marin. And that magical cutoff for the past 2 years, well, that number was about 6.2 million. Those are the luxury whales, homes that can swing the average all by themselves. Anyway, after I discovered this top 2% price, then for each month I went back and I calculated the average price with all sales during the month and the average price with all sales except for any top 2% homes that sold that month. The difference between the two numbers, I'm going to call that the outlier lift. I also did the same idea with the median price to see if the outliers were messing with the typical median reported stat. And hey, if you pick up even one useful nugget, please hit subscribe. It motivates me to keep pumping out this content and doing this kind of research. Thank you so much. The result. Here's what I discovered by doing this exercise. The top 2% absolutely messes with the average. Some months, the top 2% did nothing because there were no top 2% sales that month. So in those months, the average was just fine and the outlier lift was 0. But there were other months where the top 2% showed up and the monthly average got a boost of $175,000 to $220,000 in the biggest months. And that's not a rounding error, that is a whole house in some zip codes. And here's the key detail. When the average got pushed around that much, the top 2% share in those months was usually around 2.6 to 3.2% of all sales. So it's not that half the market was luxury. It's more like a handful of whales cannonballed into the pool. In other words, it doesn't take much for whales to really push the numbers up. Here's the next big takeaway. All those times when I said I preferred the median, well, the top 2% barely changes the median. Most months, when I removed the top 2%, the median changed by 0 to about $35,000. Okay, there was one month when the median moved more, like $76,000. And that can happen when the sales volume is lower and the middle of the market lands on a weird step in pricing. Marin does that. Marin is talented. What is currently happening? Over the past 2 years, Marin moved both ways, mostly in a seasonal, choppy pattern. Comparing the same month this year and last at least factors out the seasonal differences. So what do we see? Now that we know median prices really do tell us more about what's happening, we can easily see that 2025 is noticeably softer than 2024. That is, in September 2024, the median was $1,726,000 versus what it was in September of 2025, which was $1.52 million. That's nearly a 12% drop. And in October of 2024, the median was $1.7 million versus October 2025, where it was $1.425 million. That's over a 16% drop. Those are meaningful drops that reflect what sellers and agents are feeling, a softening market. What this means for Marin buyers. If you're home buying in Marin, here's your takeaway. When the monthly report shouts, average price is up, do not panic text your lender like it's a medical emergency. Ask, is this a whale month? Because if the top 2% boosted the average by $200,000, that headline is not describing the homes most buyers are actually competing for. What should you watch when the average price is skewed? Well, the median price. For the month, you can also look at your neighborhood comps and honestly, what's happening with price reductions and days on market in the micro area that you care about. Buying a home is stressful enough. You don't need a misleading average making it worse. What this means for Marin sellers. If you're selling a home in Marin, the average can tempt you into a pricing strategy that looks bold but behaves like a bad haircut. If you price your homes off a whale month average, you can end up overpriced, sitting, chasing the market down, and wondering why the open house felt like a museum exhibit. Instead, the smart move is to price off your segment of the market, not the trophy segment. Use the median as a reality check and look at the average excluding outliers if you want a cleaner picture of the normal buyer pool. The goal is to sell your house without giving it away, of course. What to do now? Keep on top of this reality. For average price, outliers can absolutely keep the monthly average looking high. For median price, outliers usually don't change the story that much. So if someone is using the average to claim the market is roaring, that might be true, or it might just be some whales. And if the median is holding up, that usually means the typical market is also holding up, even if it feels a bit choppy. Will Marin drop 50%? In my humble opinion, not likely. Marin is one of the most desirable, beautiful places with fabulous weather, I think, on the entire planet. Plus, we're right over the bridge from a world-class city, which gives us world-class views. Further, San Francisco is making a comeback, and being the happening city for everything AI is only going to further its progression. When San Francisco people have children, they often pack up and move to Marin. There's always people moving to Marin. So basically, prices have softened and that might continue. But the moral of the story is when you find your dream home, buy it. And when it's time for you to sell, do that too. Everything about the market direction is just a guess, no matter who it comes from. If you're checking out homes for sale in Marin or want some more information for buyers or sellers, you should see some other video recommendations showing up right now. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any no fluff real estate updates. Thank you for watching and have a great day.